So I'm currently in Thailand and this video has been making the rounds from a girl who's saying that men are in Thailand because they are losers back in their home countries who can't get laid back home. Some of you might feel very angry about this, but on this channel we're here to take the lessons and improve our lives. So I'll watch it with you right now.
I found this absolutely breathtaking spot to film this very deep video for you guys, because as you guys can see, I'm traveling right now. I'm not in my room anymore. This is not my room, okay? I'm traveling right now through Southeast Asia, and I have witnessed something really sad in Thailand when I was traveling around there.
Yeah, right away I can see how like guys don't like her because she's trying to say something, and to me at least that's not very concise, right? She just spent 37 seconds basically just saying, hey, I'm traveling, I'm in Thailand, and I noticed a funny thing about the men here. She could have completed that in 10 seconds, but instead it's going on for half a minute now.
And I want to talk about it in this video. And the thing that really, blew my mind is the amount of pathetic losers, probably a lot of those that watch my channel as well, that cannot get a girl in their country. They are pee deprived. They are virgins most likely. They come to these countries, they literally travel all across the world, because it's mostly Europeans and Americans that do this. So they literally have to travel around the world, pay crazy amount of money, and then pay some more here to get some of these girls, so they don't feel like a loser anymore, because I have noticed that especially the guys that feel really like a loser in their own country, so...
Oh my god, this is wild. Okay. Ooh, she said a lot there, and she didn't say it very diplomatically. There are a couple of things going on here that you won't get in other YouTube videos, and I'll break them down for you. The first thing is that the way she's saying this is very undiplomatic and unempathetic, right? These pathetic losers can't get girls in their own country, so they come here and they pay all this money to come here, and then they pay for more sex just to not feel like a loser. Yeah, this type of language is what creates conflict between men and women. We gotta give her credit. There are girls like her, and there are other videos that you may see online where people are saying, oh, guys in Thailand, especially the old white guys, are losers back home. They call them LBH, losers back home. And it's easy to bash them for that, right? And get triggered. But the reality is there's some truth to that. So I'm currently in Bangkok, and I can tell you that there is a subset group of men. Here's one of the most famous photos that someone took of a guy standing next to an ATM being hounded by these two girls, right? Bruh. They become prey to women exchanging sex for money. Now, these type of guys, right, their mentality is very interesting, because I've coached hundreds, maybe like almost 1,000 private clients at this point. And what I can tell you is that if you don't handle your social skills when you're in your 20s and 30s, as you get older into your 40s, 50s, and 60s, it's not like things stay the same. Things get progressively worse because you're older now, and people don't give you that margin of error that you used to have. They don't give you the benefit of the doubt. So if you're a loser, or a better term is like someone who hasn't worked on himself, right? Someone who just kind of went with the flow of whatever life gave them. That loserness, right? Those qualities like the unwillingness to learn new skills, the inability to challenge your comfort zone, the idea that you just kind of give up and just satisfy your basest desires, like just go to Pattaya and sleep with a bunch of hookers and pay for girls to drink alcohol with you because you can't get girls on your own. That patheticness that they're talking about is true, and what happens is it gets bigger and bigger the older the guy gets. There's a point of no return where that guy's like, for the rest of his life, his mindset is one of non-growth, and he's stuck there.
Is this your place?
No, I live with my mom.
Oh. Hey, Ma! Can we get some meatloaf?
And these are the type of guys that come to sex tourism countries like Bangkok, Thailand, Philippines, Brazil, because they don't see another way out in their home countries. So even though the way she said it was really mean-spirited, it doesn't make it not true. And those guys are so far beyond like my ability to help them, because they're not even willing to help themselves. However, that's just a small percentage of those guys. The majority of the guys that move from Western countries to places like Thailand, Philippines, Southeast Asia, Brazil, are guys who are actually pretty smart, and they don't have anything weighing them down in their home countries, and they realize that they can get arbitrage in these other countries. Why would you not want to move to a country where everything's cheaper, the facilities are better, the girls treat you nicer, and the sexual dynamics are in your favor when it comes to dating. This is the majority of guys. I would say like 50 to 60%. The real losers are like the 10%. The majority of guys are just guys looking for arbitrage. Then you have the top 10% of guys who I know personally here now that I've been in Bangkok. They're guys who are number one back home. They were number one in America. They were killing it. They were entrepreneurs, multimillionaires in America. But what's happening is they realize that they can get a much better quality of life with their millions in other countries. So they move to these other countries and they create these setups where they can meet the highest quality women that would have cost them 10 times the access, resources, and time that they would achieve in their home countries. And these guys, they're not losers. They're winners. They're just winning harder based on the concept of arbitrage. That's what she's not getting here. She's seeing the surface level one-dimensional view. And the way she's saying it is like obviously pissing people off.
You know, all the women are kind of like stepping all over them and they want to prove to themselves, you know, that they can get a girl, that they are this kind of big alpha guy, which they're not, obviously. They come here, they get one of these super, I don't know the name to call them, but let's just call them soft, okay? It's not a bad thing, right? So I'm not like judgy, right? Like I do not support this kind of tourism.
Yeah, I'm not really judgy, you know, like yeah, it's like I'm not trying to say anything bad, but she's actually saying something bad, and in between she's smiling, and that really pisses people off because either you're serious and you're saying, look, hey guys, this is a problem, stop doing this. At least then you're congruent with your expression and your words. Or be empathetic and say, hey, I'm just wondering, like, is this an issue? Like, what do you guys think, right? But she's not doing either. She's kind of mixing both. She's smiling and then she's like, well, isn't it kind of pathetic that these guys are losers? And that just like rubs most people the wrong way.
But by the way, guys, subscribe to my OF. The link is in the description. But yeah.
Okay, I see why so many people are clowning on her. Okay, oh my god. So she's saying the guys that watch my channel are these guys doing this. By the way, subscribe to my OF. Wow. Oh man, this is wild.
What was I about to say? They get this kind of women who are very obviously getting paid to treat the men as if they're some sort of alphas, which they're obviously not. But you know, like imagine like you're so desperate that you have to pay so much money to get a girl to treat you like an alpha.
Imagine that you're so desperate that you have to sell your OnlyFans on a YouTube video where you're making fun of your very customers. That is wild. Yo, I'm not usually this mean, but this is crazy.
Like, you know, like it's just ridiculous to me. I was walking around in Thailand. He was even like trying to get her drunk. Like he was getting so much booze from there and everything. So like not only do you have to travel to another country to get a woman, to get some action finally after being, you know, pay free for a couple of years in your own country. Not only that, but also you have to get her drunk. Because, you know, I think if she sees your small pee-pee down there, like she's just gonna, if she wasn't drunk, she was just like,
yeah, this is just ridiculous. Okay, so when you're competing in a working environment, like these guys have given up hope on being able to attract girls naturally, you know, through their charisma and socially, right? When you're at that club, these clubs in Thailand, you pay for the drinks and then like the drinks are marked up, and I think you pay for the girls to drink with you. So the girl's game, right? Their whole game is to make the guy believe that she likes him for him while racking up his bill. The guys don't really have any game, but what the guys believe they have game do is that they think that, oh, I'm paying for these drinks, but also she's starting to fall in love with the real me. And it's kind of like going to a strip club and thinking that the stripper really likes you, even though she's just doing her job. Make sense? So that's the level that they're competing at. And it's not even a competition because the whole game is set up to extract money from you. And that's why you see on these Reddit posts all these guys complaining, Thai girls only love you for the money. Well, it's because you never worked on yourself and you lack self-development initiative and the skills that you should have acquired a long time ago. You're behind and you haven't stepped out of your comfort zone to actually learn the skills that you need to be able to attract people into your life, be it a friend or a girl, and now you're just like paying for stuff because you don't have the skill set to do the basics. And it is a kind of a sad situation, to be fair.
It's really sad that, you know, some losers, a lot of them that can afford it, of course.
To be fair, like let's call it what it is, right? Like she's not the most brightest kettle in the kitchen. But to be honest with you, in my mind, the type of guys she's talking about, they are losers. Like, I would call them losers too. I would have a little bit more empathy though, because I understand how they got to where they are, right? It's like you tried in your 20s, you failed. I could have become one of these losers. You get rejected by every girl because you're socially awkward. Then you don't have any mentors, you don't have anyone to look up to, no one's shown you a better way. So the only way you know is like through watching other people that do it wrong. So now you think that giving money or making money is the only way to get girls to like you, and then perpetuate the cycle over like a decade, 2 decades. Then you end up being this guy who just like doesn't believe that he can actually improve himself, his style, his nonverbals, his communication skills to actually get the girl he wants. His mind is so ingrained, it's so inflexible that he can't get out of that headspace.
You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it.
And now they're playing this small headspace where it's transactional. You see, it doesn't go deep, it's just on the surface. And then they complain about getting taken advantage of. So I empathize with these guys. Where I agree with this girl, believe it or not, and I don't empathize, is when these guys are shown a better way, and instead of actually pursuing it, they're just like, no, I'm good. Or like, they just don't believe it's possible. When I saw my mentors like pulling girls, like back in my early 20s, I chased this guy down. I was almost stalking him, you know? And I was like, hey, please, I will pay you. I'll take you out to like the most fanciest dinner you ever want. I just want to know how you do this. Once I saw that there was a light, like I chased that light. I wanted the answers. And so I don't have any respect for someone who the answer is right in front of you. You can see it. There's no question that the evidence is there and you're still doing nothing about it.
Guy, I can tell. Like, I can tell his size and I can tell how confident he is. I can tell how much of an alpha, beta, whatever he is, how much of a, you know, loser blood he has.
Really, bitch? Really?
So a lot of them have this blood here. Yeah, I can see that. A lot of loser blood in here.
You know how you tell if a girl has OF blood? If she thinks short term, if she can't articulate her thoughts, and if she laughs all the time for no reason. Alright, I'm kidding. I actually have respect for like the top earning OF girls, or the ones that run it like a hardcore business. Like, I would never do it if I was a hot girl, but I can respect the game, right? Like, they treat it like a business. But this girl is just like, there are girls who are like semi-pretty and they go on OF to make a little bit of money, but that exchange for them is not worth it, right? Because they're making a little bit of money, but they're like risking the whole entire future on this. But I can understand that they're making like 10, 20, 30 million. Like, they will never have to work again. Given this moment in time in internet history where you can leverage sexuality to this level of monetary gains, I respect that. But I don't respect this girl who's just like not even that pretty, leveraging off of and insulting her fan base. Makes no sense.
So, yeah. Not a good side, not a good side. Just kidding. I'm enjoying these losers. Look at this. I have to show you this. Look at that. Do you see that? Oh my god. It's just a big ass lizard. Wait, I have to show you guys. This was insane. Oh, I have not seen them here. Oh my god.
Bro, we can't even see the lizard, man. What the hell? Okay, this is a stereotype, and it's been a while since I ran into girls like this, but here are my thoughts. In my mid to late 20s, right, we would go out to the club a lot. And in America, there's these type of girls, what we call like ADD girls, where they're kind of like a dog that's not trained. They can't keep their attention on one thing, and they're constantly like, oh, you can't even like have a real deep conversation with them beyond 2 sentences. And funny enough, back when in my young blood days, some of these girls were really hot. And I was like, how do I get these girls? Like, they're so ADD. Now I like completely avoid them because it's not worth the trouble. But back then I was like, how would I get these girls if I wanted them? And I realized that you have to be like a calm rock, and she's like kind of the wind and the butterfly around you, and you're just like stable without like getting swept in the craziness of it. But what I also learned is that most of these girls are not worth the trouble, because there are other girls who are more grounded, more beautiful, and actually can have deep conversations. So just at the end of the day, not worth it. But when you're young and you don't know, you kind of like, not this one, but you'll see girls that look better than her, that are super hot, that have the same like ADD attention span. And you're gonna be wondering how to get them at the club or you know, when you're socializing. And my advice to you is, sure, go for it if you want. Sometimes you need to taste the rainbow before you decide. But in my experience, 99.99% of the time, they're not worth the trouble. Thailand is a beautiful place, beautiful people. In my new book, Honest Hookups, that's about to launch, I actually talk about this phenomenon that's really interesting. In developing countries, right, the cost of a sex worker, I heard from a friend, is roughly equivalent to the cost of 2 to 3 dates. For example, in Thailand, I heard from a friend, you can get a hookup for 2 to 3,000 baht. That's about $100 to $120. Some places are cheaper and some places are more expensive depending on the quality. But $120 is around 2 to 3 dates. In Taiwan, it's 3,000 NT, I heard from a friend. That's about 3, maybe 4 dates if you squeeze it in Taiwan. So the cost of the sex worker is how many dates it takes a normal guy to actually hook up. But what happens is when you're in these countries, because guys can hook up easily, the sexual dynamics start to shift, right? Women don't have as much power because sex is given out so freely. The same thing happens in Brazil and Eastern Europe and places where the single female ratio is higher. And in places like San Francisco, where the single male ratio is higher, you have the opposite effect where men simp. Recently, I saw some Chinese tourists in Thailand. They have a completely different problem because of the one-child policy. Most parents wanted a boy because in Chinese culture, the boy carries on the family name. And now that these guys are like giving money just for a first date because there's so many more men than women in China. And what happens is these mainland Chinese women are just so entitled. To be fair, you and I would be too if there were so many guys chasing after us, if we were girls, that it's like not even worth competing. So every place has its own sexual arbitrage, sexual dynamics, and the dating marketplace is like any marketplace. It's based on supply and demand and the power dynamics that go with that. Moral of the story, wherever you are now, don't be a loser, be a winner. Buy my course. I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not kidding. The course is optional. Download the free guide. Go on Amazon, get my book at this link right here. It's completely free if you have Kindle Unlimited. Make that small investment in yourself, right? To like challenge yourself and to step out of your comfort zone and start working on something that will last you for the rest of your life. You know, core skill sets on how to talk to people. And that skill will pay you dividends way down the road, way much more than an OF account, even if you were a hot chick. Because those skills will last you the rest of your life. It will help you make friends for the rest of your life. It will help you find the right partner and not be afraid to break up because you know you have the skill set to get the girl. That's the whole premise of this channel, High Integrity Skills, is to help you learn the social skills that took me so long to learn so you can acquire in a fraction of the time that it took me. I've already retired from being a dating coach. Now I'm a social skills coach, but I would like to see some young guy killing it out there, whether it's dating or business networking or just someone who is really socially awkward, become like a guy in his prime who can express himself. And if I can do that, then my job on this channel is well done, right? And I'll die with no regrets. So challenge yourself a bit, don't be a loser, and don't listen to girls like this. To help you improve your social skills, here's a video right here where I break down some of the social dynamics and the lessons you can learn right over here. Enjoy.